And the countdown begins. What? What's going on, everybody? We back here live here in the OT show. Hey, we got a good show for y'all today. Today is going to be this show. It's Woman Month. It's still Woman Month, y'all. It's still Woman Month. And I am going to have on Miss Troya, author Miss Troya, is going to be joining your boy OT in about, let's say 5 minutes. And she's going to be bringing her book. And you already know what that book about because we've been talking about it all week. Why men need oral sex and women need to talk. Yes, that is what we're going to be talking about today with author Miss Troya. Is going to be joining your boy OT in about 5-6 minutes. Hey, how y'all feeling out there today? Your boy OT is doing good. I'm loving everything. Beautiful things is coming. Yo, she is kicking off one of the phenomenal shows that we is going to have that's going to lead up to the end on Friday. Yes, on Friday. And when I say on Friday, it's going to be a panel of 3 women, 3 men, and we're going to talk about that word submissive here on the show on Friday after dark with your boy OT. Yes, I am hyped. I am loving today. I am feeling good today. It's a beautiful, kind of little rainy day today out here. But at the end of the day, we still here. We still here. And I'm glad everybody is joining your boy OT for this show today. In about a couple of minutes, we're going to have on author Miss Troya is going to be joining your boy OT. She's going to be talking about her. We are going to have some fun today, y'all. I appreciate y'all joining me. I appreciate y'all seeing me, looking at me. I'm looking back at you. Appreciate everybody. Hey, comment. Let me know where you at. Let me know you here. I see everybody. So, hey, we're here. Can't wait for her to be coming on the show so we can go ahead and talk about a whole lot of things. So, guess what, y'all? We're going to be back here with Miss Troya on this beautiful, beautiful, rainy, but it's still a beautiful day because we're breathing. Still a most beautiful day because we are breathing. So, yo, when we talk about this subject and we talk about her book, it's just going to be something to talk about. Because, yes, it is still Woman Month. Yes, it still is Woman Month. And she is kicking off the last day of Woman Month. And I'm going to have author Miss Troya is going to be joining your boy OT. Miss Troya Bishop is going to be joining your boy OT. I cannot wait. I am hyped over this. This is something that we all need to talk about. Intimacy. Intimacy. If we can't talk about it here with your boy OT, y'all, I don't think we could talk about it anywhere else. Because guess what? When they talk about intimacy, it goes a long way. It says a lot. It tells you a lot. So right now, we're going to be talking about that here on the show where author Miss Troya Bishop is going to be joining your boy OT. Man, listen. With this right here is going to be leading up to the finale for Friday. I'm going to tell you it's your boy OT from around the way. Yes, it's your boy OT from around the way. Because Friday, we're going to be talking about the word submissive. Why is that word used? How people get mad over that word? What can we do about that word? So, yo, sit back, join us, because it is going down in about another couple of minutes where author Miss Troya Bishop is going to be joining your boy OT. I cannot wait to have her. I cannot wait to sit down and talk about it. So we're going to be talking about it, y'all. And we'll be back here live here with your boy OT. We're back, y'all. We're back here with your boy OT. And man, oh man, like I said, author Miss Toya Bishop is going to be joining your boy OT. And we're going to be talking about that word intimacy. What is that word intimacy and what do that word mean to you? To you, what did that word mean to you? Because I know when we throw out that word intimacy, sometimes the first thing people think about is sex. But for me, your boy OT, I'm sex is good, but intimacy goes a long way now since I have grown. Right? It used to always be like, yo, just hold the girl hand, chill out with her, go ahead and smash out. That's the old young OT. All right, then when you start getting older and start getting mature, you start to think about the real meaning of intimacy. And for me, the real meaning of intimacy is sitting down, have a conversation. It's intimate. We can sit down, we can have conversations, we can talk, we can build, we can sit back, we can laugh, we can cry, we can sit back and watch our own special movies. We can sit back and we can discuss some things of what's going on in this world and how things is going on in this world. So that's intimacy with your boy OT, right? And when stuff like that happens with your boy, it's like, yo, why is it that we can't have more of that when we talk about intimacy? Getting into people's minds. Let's get into your mind. Let me see what's really good in your mind, right? I want to know what's good on your mind. I want to know, how you feeling, how you been, what you talking about, how you talking about it, right? So that's what intimacy is for your boy OT. Sitting back, relaxing, watching a good movie, talking some good talk, right? Yeah, sex is good. Sex is good. Hey, listen, never going to knock the sex, y'all. That's me. I'm never going to knock the sex, but I will tell you this: it goes a little bit deeper than that. So when Miss Toya Bishop joined us here on the show, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that book, Intimacy. Yeah, she got the answers. And we're going to talk about those answers. And we're going to talk about it so seriously out here that the community need to talk about it. How we need to talk about it, when we need to talk about it, why we need to talk about it. Because this the last day of Women's Month, if I'm not mistaken. So she's going to kick it off on the last day. So with her coming on the show, we're gonna be like, yo, we here. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna live about it. We're gonna make sure that we do everything possible that we can do to make sure that everything is where it needs to be. Right? Intimacy. That word. So I can't wait. I know you can't wait. I know the listeners out there can't wait. We all cannot wait till she come on the show. Because I'm telling you, I'm gonna be asking a whole lot of questions. And why I'm going to be asking the questions is because I want to know. I want to know, are we still here? Are we going to be doing it? When are we going to be doing it? How are we going to do it? When we talk about intimacy. So she got the answers for me. Let's go. I want to know. I want to know the answer to intimacy. I want to know. Why do men need oral sex? And why do women need to talk? Man, that right there is something right there. I love it. I love it. I love it 100%. Okay. She says she in. I'm looking for her right now. I'm looking for her. She says she's in. She's in. Where is she at? Where is she at? Where is she at? Engineers, where is she at? Where is she at? Where is she at? I still don't see her. I still don't see her. So she said I'm in. Uh, so let's find out where she at right here, cause she just hit us up, said she's in, but we don't know where she at right now. We're still waiting for. So that word, intimacy. Where? Why? Do we all have the answers to it? Do we all have conversations about it? Are we in here? Can we have real conversations about it? Can we listen? Can we chime in? Because I'm telling you, that word, that word right there, but I just want to know about her book. All right, so right now, she having a little bit technical difficulties. We're gonna go ahead and uh we're gonna go to a little segment real fast. Just give me about 30 seconds. We'll have her on. Right now we got a little bit of technical difficulties with her. So just give your boy OT 30 seconds and we will be on in 30 seconds with Miss Troya. All right. All right, so we still trying to get her on real fast, which shouldn't be no problem right now. So we trying to get her on. Let's see if this is this is working right here for your boy OT. We is definitely going to be like, hey, hold up. I think we got her. I think we got her, y'all. I think we got her. Let's go ahead and see. I think we have Miss Troya joining your boy OT. Let's see. Do we got her? Look at the producer, the engineer. Do we have her on yet, y'all? Because she's on. Because we having little technical difficulties with her. But we are checking to make sure that she is on. Make sure that she is on. Is she on, y'all? Because I cannot wait. We're going to keep on talking while we get this straightened out. Because she is waiting in the wing for your boy OT. So we're going to make sure that we get her right. Feel me? We're going to make sure we get her right. Because this right here, we cannot wait for. Right? So, so let's see. Okay. Yep. All right. Okay. Yep. They saying that she's we got it. We got it. It's here. It is here. It is here with Miss Troya. I think I think if I'm not mistaken, we should be having her in a couple of minutes. In a couple of minutes. Yes, Miss Troya then sent us a thing like, hey, listen, y'all, this is what I'm on. So we got her in a couple of seconds. Yes, your boy OT is hyped because we definitely had to reschedule her, and she finally is kicking in with us. So let's see where she at. You know, hey, I'm like, hey, yo. So the producers is getting this one. They are getting it. I see the screen. She said, "This is what she see." I see it right here. Up, and I think we got Miss Toya. Yes, we do.
Hey,
Hey, Miss Toya, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am good. I am good. I am good. Thank you. Thank you. I definitely appreciate you so much for
Thank you.
joining us here in the show. Let me go ahead and just introduce you. Yes, y'all, we have our special guest on the last day of Woman Day, and I talked to y'all about her all week. We have author Miss Toya Bishop is here with your boy OT. Let me tell y'all something, right? So, yes. So we was talking last week about you, right? And I
Oh,
know that we had to reschedule and stuff like that. So I'm
yeah.
glad that you're here. Actually, you are kicking off the last day of Woman Month, and for you to be here, you closing it out for it. You closing it out for it.
I'm glad.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Hold up. Is that what kind of shirt is that? Is that a Howard shirt?
Yes, my alma mater.
Oh, here we go. Howard University to all my HBCUs. I love y'all. I love y'all. Everybody know I love all my HBCUs. Hey, I
Yes,
definitely
yes.
appreciate you so much for joining us. Thank you for rescheduling with us. I
Thank you for having me.
appreciate you. So let's dive right into it. Can you tell our listeners where
Okay.
you from? How did you get started? So let's dive right on there because we're gonna talk.
Well, actually, I want to share this with my Facebook friends too. How do I share this before we start talking?
Okay, so basically,
Or
I'm
can I
on.
not share it?
Okay, so it's already on the OT show page on
For real?
Facebook. Yes,
Oh,
yes, it's already on live. We are on live, talking on live. So all you gotta do is push the share button on the OT show page, or you can tell them to go to our YouTube.
I knew
OT.
that. I was
Okay.
trying to see if you knew.
Okay, okay. Or you could go to OT Radio Show 1 on YouTube. And
Okay,
they
I
could
think I
just
shared it.
okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate you on this
All right.
beautiful day. So let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk.
Okay.
Where are you from? Where are you from? How did you get started?
So I am originally from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Roll Tide,
Oh,
and
love
and
it.
born and raised.
Mm-hmm.
And I left Tuscaloosa in '94, moved to DC, and I've always been really engaged. Well, before I left, I really got involved in social justice activism, politics in '92,
Mm-hmm.
and went to DC in '94 when I started Howard, and just been in the movement ever since. And I love my people. I love Black people, and I love people who love Black people even when they're not Black. And so I like to always acknowledge just other people and other power that's in every space, and acknowledge the ancestors. I know that I would not be here without them. There are many shoulders that I stand on, and I'm very grateful.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Well, I am happy. I am happy that you're here. You just don't understand how we were just talking about this for a minute, and and it's leading up to something special for this Friday, right?
Okay.
So your book, Intimacy,
Yes.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I
Thank
love
you.
it. And I want to talk a little bit about the book.
Okay.
Explain to me about that title. How and why did you start this book with this title? Got to. I got
Okay.
to.
So for people who haven't seen it, I'll just put it up here again. The answers to intimacy: why men need oral sex and women need to talk. Um, Believe it or not, it actually came from the other four books that I had already written on racism.
Mm-hmm.
What happened was when I was going to different workshops, town hall meetings, radio, TV interviews, and interacting with different people in the audience and answering questions, I kind of found that there was a general theme behind what a lot of people were asking when it came to racism and just how it affected relationships. And I personally had never considered it before. And so, since I had access to a lot of different databases with real peer reviewed research, I went ahead and used, because I was at the time working on my doctorate degree. And
Mm-hmm.
so I used those databases to really see what I could find and pull some research and say, okay, let's see if we can find some commonalities and some themes. And I found those. And so I decided to put them in a book. And, I know the title is really, it's catchy to me. I love it, but it's off-putting to a lot of people. But I wanted to go ahead and use that title because I think it sparks conversation that really needs to be had, especially with Black people. And so, and that's why I chose it. And here we are.
Wow. Well, it is about to spark some conversation because
Okay.
now I'm going to tell you, right? So all the all the men that I talk to, right? As soon as you said just that title alone, right? Just intimacy, the answer to intimacy, why men need oral sex, all the men just start clapping. Everybody just start clapping. Oh man, you know what? Yes, yes, indeed. We're going to
Okay.
talk about that. But once you said it's catchy. It's catchy. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So and these are things that needs to be talked about when you talk about the Black community. And I'm just
Right.
gonna be honest. Right. So let's dive into the book a little bit. Right.
Okay.
So the answer to intimacy. Now that answer to intimacy, I know a lot of people out there when we talk about that word, everybody always just dive into sex.
Hmm.
Yeah, it gotta be intimate. Sex, 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 sex. But like I told a lot of my counterparts and a lot of people that I talk to, I said Intimacy goes deeper than sex.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
And a lot of times, when I was young, that's what I always thought, just sex, 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 sex. But it goes
Hmm.
deeper now. Now is a mind thing for me. Growing
Right.
up now me being the age that I am now is a mind thing. So let's talk about just that part right there, intimacy.
Okay.
You have the answer.
Yeah, well, you're 100% right. Sex and intimacy are not the same thing. Sometimes sex can be intimate, but not always. And the reason that it's really important for us to have an intimate connection that's not related to sex is that I believe, and what the research in the book shows, is that most people really are looking for something that's really deep and a closeness, a connection, something that's almost indescribable. That's what everybody's looking for, men and women, regardless of what age they are. We really deeply desire that unconditional love, that deep connection with somebody. But what happens is we have a hard time getting to that place. And the reason we have a hard time getting to that place, especially as Black people, is because of trauma. Now, where that trauma comes from actually goes back for centuries, from this time that our ancestors were kidnapped and ripped off the shores of Africa up until now. Nobody in my lineage, and probably nobody in yours, or even for your listeners, have ever actually sat down to talk about why they relate to men and women in a certain way. So, for example, if you're in a relationship, chances are you've never really talked to your mom and dad about how they actually got together and about how they connected and about what their intimate connection was like outside of sex. And neither did their grandparents or their grandparents, or that, because we were enslaved and captured as Africans, and intentionally, get this, intentionally forced and encouraged and rewarded for hating each other and for
Mm,
hurting each other. And that's something that I think, and that behavior continued for generations and generations. And that's something that we just don't talk about and we just don't address, because if you've never addressed it in your lineage and your grandmama did it and you're doing what she did, who's doing what her enslaved grandmama did, how are we ever going to get to a place where we can really love each other and stay together and be connected in a relationship?
wow. Right now, I'm just saying like this and just listening to you. I'm just saying like this, just listening to you, right? Because you're speaking the truth. Because a lot of time, and I love that you said that when our ancestors did it, right? Then the mother, then the mom, the grandmother, then the mother, and then us. It's like, hold up, wait a second, listen, we doing what everybody else is doing.
Yep.
And when you said, like, hey, listen, it's more deeper than this right here. It's the truth. Because why is it that a lot of people don't like going back, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that you're like, hey, listen, you're in a relationship and these are conversations that are not talked about.
Right.
Let's be honest. It's not talked about. Conversations that say, hey, listen, you know what I mean? What do you really want out of life?
Right.
Why do you love me?
Mm-hmm.
Right? What made you decide to say, hey, you are going to be my wife?
Right.
All right. And I'm gonna be honest with you, these conversations is not talked about.
Right.
You know what I mean? The first thing we talk about, if you really want to go into it, is, hey, what's your credit score look like? Hey, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where you work at and how long you been working there.
Yeah.
So, and especially in our Black community, this is why we have a little division a little bit. Why
Right.
relationships don't work out the way it should be working out. Why we are bumping heads with one another in this.
Yeah.
So, hey, listen, I'm sitting back like I told you. This is your show. I'm just the background person, to be honest with you, because
It's
you bringing
funny.
it. You are talking the truth. Let the truth. Let me tell y'all something. That's why OT show we real talk. Let the truth set you free.
Yeah, yeah. And we got to be really intentional with being compassionate to one another. And so, what I just shared a second ago, that's all in the first chapter. Like, we got to really think about our history and be intentional with talking about how our mothers and fathers and grandmothers and grandfathers, how they behaved. And so, after that chapter, there's actually a workbook to help you to actually to guide you through those conversations with your parents and with their friends. Well, from your perspective, what was their relationship like? So that we really can be mindful to be compassionate about the trauma of our ancestors and to be honest with ourselves about what we bring to the relationship. And then more than that, we also have to be honest with ourselves about how a lot of people are even introduced to sex in the first place, because and that's the part of why men need oral sex, especially for Black men. Sex with anybody, male or female, no matter what socioeconomic background, no matter how old, it doesn't begin with your body. Sex begins in the mind. And especially when women, a woman's primary sexual organ is not breast or vagina, but it's her mind. And that's why, like, even if you think about like Pimp C and Too Short and a lot of the other cats that talk about pimping and stuff like that, they talk about you got to get a woman's mind first. That's real, because that's where sex begins. Now, with that being said, you have to understand that for most people, especially for Black women, most people's first sexual experience is not about sex, but it's about somebody that is taking advantage of a kid sexually. And so when you think about rape, when you think about child molestation, those are sexual acts, but it's not about sex. It's about power and taking advantage of vulnerability. And so when a woman's first experiences with sex are from somebody that has nothing to do with a relationship or love or trying to connect or trying to be intimate, then it confuses her, because it may be pleasant and pleasing and satisfying to your body, but it completely breaks your spirit and causes shame and embarrassment. And so how do you heal that? And so we have to be honest with ourselves. A lot of men and women experience that, and nobody ever gets help. Who really goes to counseling? Who goes to therapy? Most people don't. And that's why I like to talk about going to therapy and normalizing that. I love my therapist. I have several. But and we talk on a regular basis, because you really need that outlet outside of families, outside of friends. You really need that space of no judgment, so that when you do show up to a relationship, you can show up whole, you can show up healed, you can show up happy, and you can show up with compassion. And that's what we really need. That's, from my perspective, that's what's really missing in a lot of relationships, even with friendships and with family dynamics. Compassion is missing, thinking about what that person has gone through, and really, being a friend to help them along the way. And
Wow.
and so that's chapter 2 and 3.
Wow. Like I'm sitting here and I'm listening to you with the great conversation that we are having. And it's the truth. Because when you talk about therapy, I didn't start going to therapy until I was traumatized with my mother's passing. Right. Then and the first thing, thank you. And the first thing that my therapist said to me is, why are you here? Right. And I'm sitting back, I'm looking at her like, listen, you should already know. I didn't already told you over the phone. However, she dove deep into what was going on far from childhood to now.
Okay.
And it messed me up. I ain't gonna lie to you. I said, wow, I didn't know that I was having these kind of issues. And these issues came into my relationships. And why my relationship was not as settled as I wanted to be. And I would encourage anybody, and I'm being honest, I would encourage anybody, go to therapy.
Yes.
Because a lot of times you don't even know that you're going through anything, because you think it's just something regular, but it's not.
Right.
It's not. It's not. So thank you for putting that out there into the atmosphere, for people can actually understand, like, yo, therapy is needed.
It's needed. And even in the book, I talk about what's called the quote unquote strong Black woman syndrome, because being a strong Black woman, we think, yay, I'm a strong Black woman, I can handle it. But really it causes us a lot of hurt, and it's a deficit, because we really do bear way more than we should. And we need to unburden ourselves and sit down and talk to somebody about all the things that we go through. And same thing with being a strong Black man. But one thing that came out in the research is that the American Medical Association, which a lot of people are familiar with, and the American Psychological Association, which actually develops the book to determine psychological and social disorders like PTSD and other things like that. Well, they both agreed and came together on their own separate research and agreed that racism causes post-traumatic stress.
Woo!
Now, that's cool, and that's why most insurance companies cover it. They cover your therapy. But just think about this. Now, post-traumatic stress is related to something that happened in the past, an incident that happened that caused you trauma. But racism is not post. We're dealing with racism every day. I had a real experience and even posted about it on my Facebook page. How in the world are people now trying to take away voting rights from Black folks? For real? And now I'm enraged because it struck a nerve in me, but everybody else is not enraged. But that's trauma. So what I talk about in the book, I call it constant traumatic stress, because racism never ended. So racism can't be post, and we can't even have post-traumatic. We're not even there yet. We can't have post-traumatic stress. So a lot of times when you are dealing with a Black woman, hear me, Black men, when you're dealing with a Black woman, what you're hearing, we're not just angry and we're not just mad and we're not just feisty, but what happens is we are triggered. That's a real trigger that we feel, and what you're dealing with and interacting with is trauma. And trauma is real. Just like those soldiers coming back from war, they hear that gunshot and they click off. A lot of times we are the same. We hear that one thing and we off somewhere. And I thank God I have wonderful people in my family and really good friends who know how to pull me back on the ledge, because I'm human. Believe it. I will go in. I thank God for my family, my friends, folks who will reel me back in, because you can take the country out the girl. You can't. I mean, the girl out the country. You can't take the country out the girl. I go in. But But we all need to have, because my family and my friends really do have compassion for me. They love me. And so what I really try to emphasize is other people love the folks that you're around, because it's a lot against us as Black folks. And this goes for anybody too. If you're in an interracial relationship and you're trying to love somebody that is Black, just keep that in mind. We deal with things that other people from other ethnic backgrounds, even if they are another person of color, that they don't deal with, because their ancestors didn't build this country. And they get a lot of things that we just don't get. And so like given to them in that sense. But and so we need a lot more compassion. And we need to be intentional with how we treat one another. And I just really want people to I really want to see more people stay together.
Yes. Listen, like I told you, you are bringing right now. I'm just a person that just sitting back watching the class. You are the teacher. Like I tell people, like when we have these conversations and people come with these conversations, I like to just sit back and just listen, because when you listen, you start to think of things that, why do people always say the angry Black woman?
Yeah.
Now we know.
Yeah.
Now you gotta start understanding why certain words trigger her. Boom. Now she off the chain, as we say, oh my God, yo, she tripping. No,
Right.
no, listen. They go through the same thing that we go through.
Yeah.
All the time. Period. Racism still exists. We see
it.
I mean, listen, it's in front of your TV.
Every
Right
day.
there. Everything is sitting there.
Yeah.
And if you don't understand that, then I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
I don't know what to tell you. When they show it on TV and they show it blatantly, like, hey, listen, like, hey, CNN, breaking news. Look at this.
Yeah.
Hey, people, wake up. But I love the fact that you want, far as the Black community and far as everyone, to stay together.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the bottom line, because we all are going through something, male and female. And don't think just because, and we always say sometimes, far as a male, she don't understand what I'm going through. Believe me. And I'm going to tell you, believe me, she do. She do. She's just going by a little bit different than you are.
She is going about it different. And that's why literally, realistically, the research shows that's why women need to talk. Women don't just like to talk. Now, I do like to talk. But women need to talk, especially Black women, because think about it. A Black woman regardless of where she works. If she work at CVS or she work at the bank, or if she's a teacher, or it doesn't matter where she works. Typically, she's one of those people who she's been on her job for a while. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times what happens is Black women, we train everybody. We know everything, but we have to see other people get promoted ahead of us. And then talk about it's because you get mad fast, or just some other foolish reason why they pass Black women up for promotions. And so because we have to listen to this nonsense and we have to see stuff happen all day long, happening to us, happening around us, we need an outlet. So we literally need to be able to talk. And a lot of times when women don't talk, especially Black women, because we're holding on to so much stuff, that's why we get a lot of diseases and disorders that are located around the stomach, where all that trauma and stuff lies, like fibroids and cystic fibrosis, like all those kind of things that's located there. And so when a woman does have a chance to talk and she can share what's in her heart and what's on her mind and all the kind of crazy racist nonsense she had to deal with that day, when she is done and she really has somebody on the other end that's listening, and that's a whole nother chapter on listening, but that's really listening and giving her real feedback at that time, at that point, then she may be ready to do whatever that man that she submitted to, whatever he wants her to do. Then, but it can take a while to get there.
Wow. Right now, can you see me scratching my head, right? See me scratching my head, because now I want to say this to all my listeners. Go get the book.
Go get the book.
Go get the go get the book. You hear me? Go get the book. Because what can if you were sitting in front of me, right? I'll probably have me some tea, and I'll be sipping on some tea and say, go ahead and talk it, because it's true. And now, since you bring it to light, not only are you saying, hey, Black men, sometimes listen to what she got to say. Don't get upset. Just listen. She's trying to get some stuff off her chest. It's things that she's going through during the course of the day. Listen to her. And the fact that you said that different things come about physically, medically, emotionally, thyroid, and I know a lot of women who have thyroid issues.
Yep.
And now I'm starting to think now, after you just brought this to my attention, you know what? Shut the hell up and just let her talk. Seriously. Don't even disturb her. Just let her get it off her chest and hug her at the end. And say, I'm here.
Or and even in chapter 5, we talk about what listening really looks like. Is when you hear somebody saying something, you can repeat it, paraphrase it. Oh, okay, so you're saying that so and so and so and so. Wow, I didn't know that. Well, how did that make you feel? And just really restate it, paraphrase it, and then go back and ask a follow-up clarifying question. Then that's how they know that you really are listening and you really care about what they're saying. And that's important on both ends, because everybody wants to be heard and listened to. And even if you ever notice why or wonder why sometimes, and I hear it a lot when I'm out in different spaces, but especially when I'm teaching, and it's a majority white audience, they will ask, well, why do Black women talk loud? And I was like, because y'all asses don't listen if we don't tell. So what else are we supposed to do? And that's real. I mean, we got to holler, because the stuff that we go through really will make you want to holler. So that's why.
Wow.
But yeah, and then even just with men, and matter of fact, I thought writing it that the chapter that most men were going to like was the part where I talk about why men need oral sex. A lot of men, especially married men, they really appreciate the most the chapter that you just talked about, the one on listening. So that was surprising to me. But I'll get to the next part whenever you're ready.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you this. You know what? I always because I tell you this, right? I got me a Bama woman. She's a Roll Tide woman.
Hey, right? That's what I'm talking about. Smart man.
Right. And she's from Birmingham. And I always be like, man, you talking too loud all the time. Now I'm starting to listen like, you know what? I really don't be listening. That's why she be listen here. I'm like, yo, calm down. It's not that serious. But then now, since you said that, now I want to be quiet a little bit. I'm like,
Yeah.
go ahead. All right. Got
There
me a
you
little
go.
country woman. So thank
Yes.
you. I appreciate that. I definitely
You're
appreciate
welcome.
that. I appreciate that. Okay, so let's get to the other chapter. Let's talk about it. Let's talk
Okay.
about it. You ready? The
Yes.
floor is yours. Let's go. There you go.
Okay. So, well, I get the reason why men need oral sex.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a workbook part in the book too. But kind of like how women need to have to talk, when you think about what men experience all day,
Mm-hmm.
especially in terms of racism, and like how we talked about, sex doesn't begin with your genitals, it begins in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you consider the different spaces, especially for a black man, where he may not feel powerful, um, when he gets to his bedroom, as a black man, a lot of times the only place that he can feel powerful is in his bedroom. And a lot of times especially for child molesters, because we read and went through a lot of that research in writing the book, and a lot of those men didn't feel powerful. So since they didn't feel powerful, a lot of times they'll find the most vulnerable person to take advantage of.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with rape. And so when you look at the dynamic of power and vulnerability, a black man needs oral sex because he's dealing with racism and a lot of times not feeling powerful at all. When you look at being able for somebody like the police to kneel on your neck for 8 minutes and on camera, and they wonder, did he really commit a crime?
Mm-hmm.
And how powerless that can make you feel. And when you know that your woman deserved that promotion that she didn't get, and then you just listen to her talk about it and how powerless that makes you feel. And when you know that you deserve that house that you didn't get because your credit score is good, but they say they're using something different, and how
Mm-hmm.
powerless that makes you feel. And so the only place, if you really look at it, that a black man can feel powerful for some people is in the bedroom.
Mm.
Now, of course, that's going to vary from person to person. But when you look at that power dynamic and you look at vulnerability, what other position physically, just imagine, I won't be too graphic, but just imagine what other position can the woman that he loves be in besides facing him, being face to face and on her knees in front of him and ready to take him in. That's a position of vulnerability because he can do anything to you at that, but chop your neck off, hit you on top of the head, anything can happen. But when you are physically submitted, it's sensual, but it's also makes him be in a position of power.
Mm.
And that's before any kind of sexual act even takes place. Black men need to feel powerful because they're men and they're human, and that's a need. And
Mm.
what men need to feel powerful is to protect and to provide. And that need is not met from a lot of black men, to protect and to provide. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It makes a whole lot of sense. It makes a whole lot of sense, and I
Okay.
love the fact that you are bringing this to us because a lot of times when you hear, when the men talk about it, right? Like, yeah, man, sometimes I just need that head. But then when we bring it to the bedroom and talk to our woman, they be like, ew, nah, you ain't getting it. You only gonna get it when I want you to get it. And now since you saying this, I'm sitting back thinking like, wow, you know what? She's speaking the truth on that one.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
speaking the truth on it. And just not to get too graphic, like you said, is I'm just sitting here amazed right now. I'm sitting here
It's a
amazed.
need.
Yeah,
It really
yeah,
is a need. It's a
yeah.
need, and that's why we see so many people. Because with my organization, Parental Empowerment Institute, a lot of times we do outreach with for sex workers, and so we'll be out on the street. We'll pass out condoms, lube, different types of things like that, and making sure that they know where they can get a hot bath with vinegar, all that kind of stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
the men who the men who are out there is unbelievable. Like, they got bad wives with a nice crib. We're like, for real? But for them it's a need. And so we are trying to really bridge the gap to make sure that people are able to get their needs met at home and really have real conversations about what's happening in your mind. Go sit down and talk about it. Don't throw away everything because of a sexual need that you don't even realize is a psychological need first.
Wow.
Go and deal with that, and let somebody really help you and walk you through that.
Mm, now, can we say the same thing about a woman needing it?
No, women like it,
Uh,
and some
mm,
women love it, but
mm.
the power dynamic is different. The
Okay.
power dynamic is very different because remember, women feel powerful a lot of times when we can talk, when we can
Hmm.
say what we want to say, we can get it off our chest, and then that makes us feel empowered and emboldened, and that's why we on Facebook ranting and raving like we do. And that's why, like, like if you text your girlfriend one sentence and then she texts you back a paragraph,
Right.
because we got stuff to say, we got stuff on our mind. But I also want to make sure that I put in context that men need oral sex, but what women also need is to be protected and
Hmm.
provided for. And so we also want to make sure that we can do whatever we're going to do for that person and be safe and be secure. And
Hmm.
what comes with being what for most women, what comes with being willing to have oral sex is being sure that you're going to be safe. And that
Hmm.
means you need commitment and you need loyalty. And those
Mm.
two things a lot of times that are lacking. So if you haven't put a ring on it, don't ask me for nothing.
Whoop,
You know,
whoop.
and
Oh,
that's
oh.
a lot of people that's a lot of people's perspective. We have to, let's honor each other. And let's
Hmm.
really make a real commitment. Let's be truthful. Let's be faithful. And let's really grow this thing and I'm really pushing to stabilize the family in that union between a man and a woman, because if we're really going to win this fight for freedom and justice and all this kind of stuff, well, the backbone and the root of the movement is the family.
Yes, it is.
So we got to
Yes,
make
it
sure
is.
that man and woman love each other strong. I wish the stuff that I put in this book, I wish I knew when I got married. I ain't know nothing. And and nobody around me knew nothing. And ironically, one of my best friends now is my ex-husband. We cool.
Right.
We just, neither one of us had tools. We both were very traumatized and didn't realize, and had never dealt with it. And but we're learning and growing and still are committed to being the very best version of ourselves. And I think that's what everybody, hopefully, prayerfully, that's what people will continue to be able to do. Be the
Hmm.
best version of themselves.
I, I I truly agree. I truly agree. And one thing that you did say that I truly love that you said it is to bring the black families together,
Yeah.
right? Because when you think about it, doing all the movements that they was having, the civil rights movement and stuff like that. And I always tell people, when I go back into history and I start to read, I said, what really crushed the civil rights movement,
Mm-hmm.
right? Well, when the movement of the woman came about,
Okay, I
the
agree with
woman's rights,
that.
the woman's rights. So now, when you take the woman out the equation, now you can separate us because a lot of people don't understand the woman is
Yeah.
strong. The woman is strong. The women did more for the movement than the men did.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot in different movement spaces, because um, that's a whole nother dynamic, but that's real.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
feminist movement did kind of snatch the commitment from black women and black men, in a certain way, and that's true. And my cousin Shell said, doing wifey duties is, without a ring, is a no. Yeah, we need some security.
Yes, 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 yes. I do agree. I do agree. I do agree. Oh wow, we should like amen to that. No, no ring, no, no. Wow, wow. What the
Yeah,
beautiful emojis. I see you.
I feel you, Richard and Shell.
Oh wow, I see it. I see it. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely the truth. It's definitely the truth what you're
Yeah,
talking. And we do need to bring the black families together and just families, period. Because right now the dynamic has changed, and now it's a separation thing, right?
yeah,
But at the end of the day, this is how OT feel, right? At the end of the day, regardless of gender, because yeah, regardless of gender, regardless of color, right, race and everything else, OT feels like this. It's OT. That's it. Whatever you're doing, women's right, genders, whatever you're doing, at the end of the day, you're still black. So when we when we focus on this being black, because see that's why movements is not going to go the way it should be going, right? We should be more powerful than anything. During
Mhm.
this time right now, we should be more powerful. But the fact that everything is separated, right?
You mean
It's
everything separated like what?
okay. So when we talk about Black Lives Matter, right? We just want
Hmm.
to talk about Black Lives Matter, right? You're black. Yes, Black Lives Matter, we're black. But then over here on the left side, then you have, genders matter. Why? Folks,
Hmm.
at the end of the day, you're still black. So at the end of the day, you're still is not going to get the same rights, regardless of your gender, regardless of you being a woman. You're still not going to get the same right as our counterpart,
Right.
regardless. Period. Regardless. So we focus on, you know what? Let's just focus on us as a people of one entity that's being black. Human rights. For me, it's all about human rights because right now
Yeah.
we don't have it. We don't have it
Right. And
at
you know
all.
what? Harriet Tubman, because I went back to reread some of the other stuff some of the essays that she wrote, but she thought, because, she really worked too with they call it the women's suffrage movement when white women were trying to get the right to vote, Susan B. Anthony and all of them, like all of them and Frederick Douglass, they were all like the same,
Mm-hmm.
I won't say the same little clique, but, in the same time, we're in the same movement. But
Right.
that's what she
Right.
said. Black women then really, in Sojourner Truth, they really thought that white women were going to push their cause, the cause for justice for black people, like they pushed the women's rights piece. And I
Mm-hmm.
think they kind of felt like it would come at the same time. And of course there was. You had a lot of white women who really were down with it, and they were abolitionists and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not saying that they
Yep.
weren't, but I think that there was an expectation that there would be more. There would be more
Mm-hmm.
help, more lifting when
Yep.
they got the right to vote, and that didn't necessarily come. So I went back to reread some of that stuff to just kind of to fellowship with my ancestors is what I call it.
Right.
'Cause I mean,
Right.
they know, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It don't matter how much Howard you get, ain't nothing like listening from Harriet Tubman or Martin Luther King. So I go back and
Mm-hmm.
read all that stuff to really help ground me and center me
Mm-hmm.
because I get angry.
Yeah. Listen. I'm right along with you because certain things I see and I get real angry about. I'm like, listen, y'all, you know what I mean? We are going away for, of what we should be doing. Like, come on, y'all, stop, because now we separating ourselves. And when
Yeah,
you separate yourself, then that's the easiest part. As
right.
they say, divide and conquer. They
Hmm.
divide us and they're going to conquer. And that's what's going on right now. Right now, that is still what's going on. We're
Yeah,
still not focused on us as a people because we are so divided into
right.
different things. Now you got people that talk about police brutality. You have people that talk about police, prison reform. You have people that talk about, um, women's rights, right? You got people that talk about, racism, and we all still divided because guess what? We all are talking differently.
But we
But
have to. If you
yeah,
think
yeah,
because we got to be fighting on several different levels all at the same time,
right.
you know. And when do you really when do you sleep? When do you rest? I mean, it's a lot. We really
It
do
is.
bear a lot of different burdens. But I
N-
mean, you're right.
Now, do you think, and this is just my opinion, do you think that one of the things that we should be fighting for is human rights?
Yeah, I think it's always appropriate to fight for rights of everybody. I recently posted where the government they had government officials from China that asked me a few years ago if I would come and do activist work there because at the time I had done a lot of work with Troy Davis and other really notable people that the government executed. And
Mm-hmm.
but we were still able to mobilize internationally and get a lot of attention. And I told them no, because the government there is not like the government here.
Sure ain't.
You don't have freedom of speech, and they can throw you in jail and do a whole bunch of other stuff. But what I did not know is that racism there is worse than here. And
Yes, it
they
is.
really discriminate based on what your last name is and who your ancestors are. And if
Mhm.
you get arrested there for what we consider like a felony, they can do human experimentation, just all kinds of crazy stuff. But I mean, I believe a life is a life, and all life is precious. So I do believe that it's important. But if I'm in America and somebody's foot is on my neck, then that's
Mm.
fighting first,
Hey,
Yeah.
listen. I agree with you. I definitely agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
Definitely agree with you. And I would tell anybody when you go, and I'm going to say this, when you go international travels, you better do your research of the countries that you go to.
Yeah.
You best to do your research because we was going to go to Belgium
Oh
uh,
Lord.
this year, and then after doing research, we like kind of stopped and was like, hold up, wait a second. They don't treat us good over there. They treat
Mm-mm.
us very bad over there. Um, Certain rights that they have is I tell you, it actually scared me a little bit.
Well, what y'all was
Scared me.
going over for the cookies or the chocolate? One of the two.
We was going to take a Europe tour, right? Because
Oh, okay, okay.
I'm all into learning about our history, right?
Hmm.
And in Europe, it is right there for you to look at, right there. So we was actually taking an international tour
Okay.
through different parts of Europe to learn about history, our ancestors, because we're very prominent over there, and they actually still have pictures of us on the same color. So
Oh wow.
now, we changed our mind, and we're going to be going to Barcelona, Spain,
Okay.
because I want to go see the Black Madonna.
Oh
So
right.
yeah. So I'm going to take that train ride to go ahead and go see the Black Madonna because I want to see people. For me, and it's just for me. When I go out of the country, I want to see our history, and it's especially in Europe. You have pictures, and they don't hide it. That's the thing. They don't hide it. It's in
Hmm.
clear daylight for you. So how we get treated over there and how the pictures show us as kings and queens and
Hmm.
people praising us and stuff like that. These are the things that pictures I'm gonna have.
Have you already done the Africa trip?
No, but we're planning on doing that next year.
Okay.
We already got that planned out. We actually going to go to South Africa.
Nice.
Um, and then from there, we plan on going to, as my African people say, um, we going on the other side. We probably going to end up going to Tanzania.
Okay. Nice.
So to go ahead and go over there and see some of my people. So yeah,
Cool.
yeah. So we going. So we got some things planned out, and
Okay.
I was kind of upset a little bit that the COVID thing happened, right?
Yeah.
What I
COVID
mean, I was like,
sucks.
oh, they just so selfish, right? Because we had trips that we was going to take, and when I tell you my favorite word is, I'm going to bring the travel channel to life, and I got that from Luda, and I'm like, yo, that is real.
Hmm.
That is definitely real. So going with OT rant that I have right now because I could talk too. Both of us could talk, so I could talk too. You know what I mean? But oh man, like you are like bringing especially insight to a lot of especially women trauma that men don't understand,
Hmm.
and you doing that, I thank you. I thank you so much
You're
because
welcome.
we trying to bridge the gap between man and woman, and
Absolutely.
because we have to know each other, and to me, we all going through something, and I think with you saying the things that you're saying, honestly, is bringing to light of the trauma, especially with women, because it's barely talked about.
Right. Well,
It's
any issue that have to do with Black women and finding peace or solace is not talked about. You're
yeah,
right.
yeah, and for you to be talking about it and bringing it to light, we're gonna have to bring you back on. We're
I
gonna
would
have to
love
bring you
to.
back on with a whole panel of women, and I'm just gonna give you the floor. I'm just gonna be like, hey, OT, I'm in the back. I'm just her engineer for today. You know what I mean? I'm the engineer for today. But I thank you so much. We're gonna have to talk. We
Thank you
definitely
for
gonna have
having
to
me.
talk. No, thank you, thank you. You know what I mean? Because I listen. I know. I thank you. I give you your roses
You're
because I
welcome. I
thank you
appreciate that.
so much for you to do this and bring the insight that you have grown. and we're going to have to do a round two because I feel like after this right here, yeah, we're going to need a round two because
Yeah, because we only talked about a couple chapters. Yeah, we got a
right,
long way to go.
yes indeed, and actually tell you the truth, if you're up to it, I will myself say, okay, let's do it. You're up to talking about chapter after chapter, and we can make it a week thing if you want to do it. If you say,
That
okay,
would be
OT,
great.
we're
Yeah,
going to talk
I'm
about
here.
this chapter for the
I'm here
day.
for the people. Yeah.
Okay, hey, the people want it. The people want it because I can see it. Thank you. Great conversation. You
Hey, Keisha,
know,
this is my cousin. Hey, girl.
hey cousin Keisha, hey, listen, I learned it from my Alabamian woman. Hey, you got to talk. Hey cousin, what's up,
That's
cuz?
right.
How you feeling today, cuz? I appreciate you, cuz. So thank you so much. So tell our listeners where to find your book at. Tell them where to find you at on IGs. So the floor is yours again.
Okay, so when you get the book, first of all, I want you to buy the book because you want to get healed. Don't just buy it because you think it's going to be some raunchy. Because it's some raunchy, but you're going to learn. So after each chapter, there's a workbook section after each chapter because I'm a teacher and that's what we do. We make you do work. So get the book, find a partner to go through the book with. So do that first. And you can find the book on theanswerstoracism.com, theanswerstoracism.com. And you can also find it on Amazon. And of course, we're on Facebook, Instagram. You can just type it in and it'll pop up.
Mm-hmm. Oh well, thank you, and I'm definitely going to be promoting it. I'm about to go tell my Alabamian woman like, hey yo, you gotta get this book. You gotta
Thank
get this book.
you.
You gotta get the book. You know what I mean? You gotta support. You gotta support. So I would be telling everybody to support. So support. Go ahead and definitely support. Let's make this the bestseller.
It is. I'm shocked. I really thought the other ones
Yeah,
were going to be the best ones, but this one is blowing everything out the water. So
yeah. Because I mean, you're talking about things that are not talked about.
yeah,
Great conversation. Trauma. So fellas, now now you gave me a whole new different perspective. Now I'm just gonna be like, go ahead, baby, go ahead and have that conversation. Go
that's
ahead.
right. That's
You
right.
gotta
Be
be like,
sweet to her.
yeah. Because I don't want the Bamians coming to get me.
That's right. And let me say one more thing too before I leave. What I want, this your homework, OT. Now,
Okay,
because she from Bama, so Bama girls, we stick together now.
okay.
So okay, I want you to go to fivelovelanguages.com.
Mm-hmm.
Fivelovelanguages.com, and there's a test that you take. And you
Mm-hmm.
take the test and figure out what her love language is, figure out what yours is, so y'all can do this together. And then they
Mm-hmm.
actually give you steps of different things that you can do to make sure that you are loving her in her love language and vice versa. Because
Oh.
if she feels loved by, getting touched and rubbed on the back and you holding hands or, public displays of affection, but you're always trying to give her stuff, then she
Mm-hmm.
won't receive it as love and vice versa. So we want to make sure that we're intentional with how we love each other and how we treat one another in those relationships. So that's your homework.
Okay. Well, I'm going to do my homework. I'm definitely going fivelovelanguage.com. I am going
Yes.
to it, and I'm going to do my homework. And guess what? I'm going to text you. I'm going to
Okay,
text
text
you.
me.
Okay, I got you. I got you. I appreciate you so much. See,
You're welcome.
the teacher that gave me homework, y'all.
That's right.
Listen, you know what I mean? I'm 46 and I'm still getting homework. Listen, all y'all kids out there that's dealing with the virtual school. I know because I got one.
That's right.
Listen, I'm getting homework. Thank you.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Miss Toya
Bye,
teacher.
everybody.
I appreciate you so much. So we're gonna have you back on. So we're gonna have that conversation.
Okay.
Okay. I thank you so much. Y'all can find on
You're welcome.
IG. I appreciate you. Thank you for bringing everything to light, especially when it comes down to trauma with our sisters.
All
Thank
right.
you. I appreciate you. And I will talk to you later.
All right. Bye,
All right.
everybody. Roll
Oh man, listen. Great conversation, y'all. Great conversation. Needed that. OT learned a lot today. I learned a whole lot today. So you make sure y'all get her book. Find it on Amazon. You know what I mean? Answer NCBC. Find it on Amazon. Y'all can find it. OT's going to be posting it. Make sure y'all go get the book. Because guess what? She taught me something today. I got it today. And OT's going to do some different things. I got it today. Wow. I appreciate her so much. just got finished joining your boy OT to talk about the book. Listen, go get the book. Find on Amazon. I'm gonna be posting it. I'm definitely gonna be posting everything. I appreciate y'all. And guess what? Now we're gonna lead off on Friday with the panel. We're bringing the panel together to talk about this conversation that we're going to have. First, we talked about intimacy. Now we are going to talk about, now ready? Drum rolls. Should we say this word right here? Should I say this word right here? I am going to say it. Submissive. What is that word, submissive? So we're going to talk about that. We're going to bridge the gap. And this show is about bridging the gap. We are trying to bridge the gap. And we going to do it, y'all, here on the OT show. So guess what? I will see y'all Friday, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we want to talk about the word submissive. And we want to talk about it. We want to have 3 women, 3 men, and we want to talk about that word. Why sometimes it can take it out of content to understand a little bit more. And mind you, y'all, this is our words. Nobody else. We're not doctors. We're not physicians. This is us just talking. So what we're saying is a reflection of us, not a reflection of everybody else. So get ready for that show. It's going to be kicked off. I appreciate y'all for listening. Appreciate everybody for commenting. I appreciate people for just taking out their time to chill with your boy OT from around the way. It's your neighborhood homeboy OT from around the way. I appreciate y'all. So I will see y'all Friday, 7 p.m. We're going to talk about that word, being submissive. Woo! It is going down here in the OT show. Hey, y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all Friday, y'all. Peace.